So I'm just curious, actually, I didn't ask you guys anything yet about you, but you're here because you have some connection to Masa. So are you in Israel? Are you at home? Are you are you on a volunteer program? I'm curious what's going on for you guys. If you want to share, you don't have to.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So Hallie, what's up with you?
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Hallie, and I am in Israel right now doing Masa. I'm in Netanya, and I'm doing the Israel Teaching Fellows program.
Okay. Right. How's it going for you?
It's definitely been a change from going to school. Yeah, but they're still going strong. We're trying everything we can to keep it going.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ruben, is today your first day joining us?
Yes. Well, I'm from Paris in France, but now I'm in Israel, in Tel Aviv. I'm doing a stagiaire program. It's an internship for 5 months in engineering, but now with home office and everything, it's kind of complicated.
Wow. How many? So you almost maybe been here for 5 months, or when did you first come?
I came like 3 weeks ago. So I started with the quarantine thing and everything.
Wow. So you haven't actually started really what you came.
I went only one day, and after they put me in quarantine, and
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, hopefully it will pass soon. We have absolutely no idea.
yeah.
I wish you the best for your time here. It's a very difficult situation. Oh boy. So, okay, Rochelle, is that you? The other one? This is you? Okay.
This is me.
Cool. Okay. So we have Naomi. Are you with us? You can turn on your audio if you want. If you don't want to, that's okay. I just wanted to know a little bit about what you guys are doing. You can answer if you like, or you don't have to. Okay, I see you just turned off your phone.
Yeah, I'll say hi.
Okay.
Yes, I've been to all the classes you've done this week. I really enjoyed them all, so thank you so much. I'm also on the Masa Israel Teaching Fellows program. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Great.
I'll also introduce myself, can I?
Yes, please do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rochelle. I work for Masa in the digital marketing department. It's actually really interesting because the majority of my job, I never see face-to-face participants. I just email you and spam you and post things on Facebook and all of that. But it's really exciting to see like our work actually before, we see you guys here. That means you got an email and that means you opened it. So if I ever get annoying, I'm sorry, but it's really nice to see that, that is the end of our efforts to get you guys together and to make you feel like you have a community. So even Ruben, welcome to Israel. And I'm so sorry that you couldn't go to your internship, but one day you'll be able to tell this story. And hopefully Masa will be a part of that. So
I hope so.
We all are certainly in a unique situation here. I don't think anyone maybe experienced something like this in their life yet. So this will certainly be a story for friends and family for a lot of time to come. Well, thank you all for sharing a little bit. I also came here with Masa to volunteer. Some of you heard my story already, but I came on an Israel Teaching Fellows program about 4 years ago. I'm from Georgia in the US, and I decided to come for a year to volunteer with the Bedouins. Trying to teach English to the Bedouin kids. That was very difficult. But a very wonderful experience to come here and see a different side of Israel. And I decided to stay. So I've been here since 2016, and I'm teaching yoga here in Israel. trying to most of the time. So it's been interesting experience really, being, I'm sure you all understand, being in a different country without comfortable with the language. You learn a lot about yourself. And like we're slowly learning about the process of yoga, we have a situation that is a bit like, you have a challenge, you have a choice. How are you going to react to the choice? Are you going to get through it and take yourself to a higher place? Or sometimes, we have bad days, we don't understand any word of Hebrew, we have lots of problems here in this country, as volunteers, as foreigners, and I think you've all probably experienced that now. So what we've been talking about this week are tools from yoga to help us in our daily living. So some of you have been here since Sunday, some of you just joined today. So we'll review a little bit of what we talked about since Sunday. And then I want to do the movement with you, to put everything together, do a little bit of breathing, a bit of movement, and to give you a relaxation that we did a few days ago. So the process or any part of yoga doesn't, we said a few days ago, it doesn't just mean you're going to stand on your hands or put your leg behind your head, something like that. We see a lot in the West now. What we're seeing a lot is a big focus on the posture, on an asana. We call the posture asana in Sanskrit. And a lot of what we're seeing in the West, we're seeing people, a lot of the time it's women, very thin women doing, something looks like acrobatic or circus. And it's, for me, this is not yoga. Seeing images like that, or people teaching like that, there's not really a connection to real yoga. It doesn't mean that doesn't have value. It's wonderful to do acrobatics, walk on your hands, have fun with people. That certainly has a place and time, but to say that it's yoga is not necessarily true. We are wanting not to force ourselves or to push through and to take ourselves to a place that we're not ready to go. And the bigger tools of yoga, we are looking to move from a point A to a point B. So in this way, the real teaching of yoga, you can take it anywhere you go, to whatever job you're doing, wherever you are in your life. It can have nothing to do with sitting in a lotus posture or a downward dog or handstand or whatever. We're using these tools to improve our life. So each of you are able to dig a little bit deeper with yourself over a period of time, and you're able to lift yourself higher. And so in this way, actual process of yoga is a very personal, individual journey. If you've been in any type of a group class, practicing in a group, maybe you turn your head and you're looking, you see what somebody else is doing, and you think, wow, like that's amazing, I want to do that. And then maybe you're trying on your own to figure out how to do that. This is a possibility, but we also want to realize what works for that person may not work for you. And so it's best to try to, as you're learning or taking that process, to try to connect with what works more for you, and not to take what works for someone else. So in this way, we're slowly uncovering a deeper connection. The word yoga has many meanings. The root of the word yoga is the Sanskrit word, and it's coming from a root word. Like Hebrew, Sanskrit also has roots, which I find very interesting. We won't have a Sanskrit lesson, don't worry. But the word of yoga is meaning to bring something together, to join something together. And so this something that we're working to bring together is our deeper sense of self, our true self that all of you have within you. I think there's a chance you probably all experienced it in a moment or two in your life. You experienced maybe a moment or two of deeper connection, a truer sense of calm, of peace. And so we're working to connect more deeply to this area within ourselves. Working to connect the mind, where we spend a lot of our time, with the body and with the deeper sensations of the body. And we start this process by moving through postures, by moving through, we call them asana, and with our breath, with control of our breath. So I like to describe the breath, as I'm teaching my classes, I like to describe the breath as a bridge between the body and the mind. Yesterday we had a class talking about breath specifically, and much of the time in our day-to-day life, we're breathing very shallow. We're breathing very small, short breaths, really just from this throat, upper chest area. So maybe today or tomorrow you will start to notice a little bit how you're breathing. Excuse me. And breathing in a shallow way is not good for us. Kind of maybe you don't breathe that way. But if you do, you want to start to pay attention how you're breathing just when you're sitting around the house, when you're watching TV. Very, very basic things. Where are you breathing? And it's a process we don't have to think about most of the time. We just breathe. It's amazing. But we do have the ability to control and to influence our breath. So we did yesterday a little bit of a breath exercise to regulate the breathing. We'll do that again today. But we want to use in yoga a full breath, meaning we're trying to breathe as deeply into the body as we can. You can think like your lungs are literally an oxygen tank. And why wouldn't you use all of the space available? I know it's not necessarily you don't want to. It's just a habit that we've gotten used to doing because much of the day we're sitting. If you're sitting at a desk or the sofa or whatever, I said yesterday, the body, when we're sitting as Westerners, we tend kind of to hunch over, to round in the lower back and the upper back, and the shoulders get close together. And you may not notice it, especially if you're young. You may not notice this until you start to feel pain. So when we are sitting in the sofa, in the chair, or whatever, it's very difficult, but if we can, you're sitting in a desk. If you have a back of the chair, you want to try to sit as close as you can with the spine to the back of the chair. You could put a pillow under your lower back to support the lower back and try to maintain a straight spine. It takes a lot of work, so it may be exhausting in the beginning. And if you can do that, sitting in the front of the chair, so both the feet are on the floor, then you're able to maintain a more straight spine. Another thing, I didn't mention it yesterday, but although everybody's working from home now, but if you can do a standing desk to stand up in your workspace, this is another wonderful way to help your posture. And improving the posture will improve your breathing. So we can understand if our posture ends up looking like this, we are compromising our breath. We're not able to breathe deeply when the body is closed like this. Again, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I don't think anyone here has this extremeness in their body, but you can play with the movement a little bit on your own time or now, just to curve your spine a little bit more and try to breathe deeply. And it doesn't work out so well. Okay, so something else I wanted to talk a little bit about today before we move on to movement. To give you a very short introduction to the philosophy of yoga. This could be a whole course in a college class for like 5 months, but we will do maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. So a few days ago, we talked about the history of yoga on Sunday. And our history of yoga is dating back a few thousand years. A few thousand years, it's quite old. There are records in a few ancient texts from India that describe processes of yoga. And at that point, the initial findings that we have are more describing posture for meditation. So much of what we have from that time period is describing a sitting posture. An asana used to be described as just a seat, a simple seat to take meditation. There is not that much record from thousands and thousands of years ago of, say, the modern practice we have today. The modern practice we have today is about 100, 150 years old. And this practice came from teachers who learned from their teachers, and at some point people decided to start writing it down. With a desire to start to share yoga with people outside of India. And this was around the 1900s. Some of the famous teachers that people know today, names we know today, they were sent over to the West to give yoga to the world. It's an amazing gift. Yoga is considered the gift from India, India's gift to the world. It truly is. The true teachings of yoga are universal to everyone, that it doesn't matter about your religion or how much money you have, what are your clothes, if you have a yoga mat, you don't have a yoga mat, what is your language, none of it matters. Like we said, these are deeper processes for connecting to yourself, connecting on a deeper level to reach your potential, to improve yourself, and in that way, by changing yourself, that change has an effect on people around you, on your friends, on your family, on your workplace, whether or not you are trying to change anything at all. We have a basic philosophy of yoga. It's called Ashtanga Yoga. This is also physical practice, and this happens to be the practice I'm teaching. So we have a physical practice that's come out of a philosophy. And the philosophy of Ashtanga Yoga means 8 limbs yoga. Ashta means 8 in Sanskrit. Anga is a limb, like a tree, a body part, like an arm or a leg. And it's special because all of these 8 pieces actually work together. It's not like okay, I did step 1, check. Step 2, okay, I got it, I'm done. Step 3, it's not like that. It's all working together eternally, for infinity. It's a very circular process, so it all works together. And we begin, like I've said a few times, we're beginning this process, these steps, with actually limbs 4, with limbs 3 and 4. So we're beginning with asana, with posture, and with control of our breath, with pranayama. And the word pranayama means that control of the breath. Asana is posture. And we're beginning here because these are things we can see and hold and touch. We can manipulate our physical body. I can reach my arm up much more easily than I can try to remove like emotional obstacles in my personal life. And so we, after time in movement, spending time opening the body, opening the muscles, lengthening the body, and improving our breath, there start to be some changes, and changes in the way you're thinking, changes in the way, obviously, in the physical body. And so these changes are starting to bring us to the other limbs of yoga. And we come to the first 2 limbs, which are called yama and niyama. I don't think you'll remember the name, it's not important. But we have yama, which means ethical discipline. What are our ethics, our personal ethics? How are we interacting with the world around us? And this process, again, will come after you've started a physical practice and you are beginning to cultivate a sense of awareness. We talked about a few days ago process of yoga is helping you to become aware, to be aware of how does my shoulder feel today, how do my feet feel, and then from day to day, we're bringing awareness onto feeling of each day. Every day is not the same. Every time you do yoga, every time you're doing whatever you're doing, it's not the same, no matter how many times you're doing it. And so in the branch of Yama of ethical disciplines, we have 5 parts. The first part, this is everything I'm saying, like, oh, this is the most important thing, this is the most important thing. There are so many things that are kind of in this top area of basic things that we think about when we think of yoga. So maybe some of you heard the word of ahimsa. It's a bit more popular than the other ones. Maybe you haven't. The word ahimsa means nonviolence. And this, you can say, is like the first rule in our yoga philosophy. So what does that mean, nonviolence? It doesn't just mean, okay, I'm not going to fight with people physically. I'm going to avoid punching people. It goes much deeper than that. So nonviolence also is extending to our speech. How are we talking to people? How are we talking to ourselves? If I get a C on this exam, am I beating myself up about it? Am I withholding things from myself? You get the idea. Speech to other people. How are you responding? Which words are you choosing to speak? Words have impact. Every word that you say to someone is important. You never know what you might say to someone and how it will affect them. This is something that I connected with for many years. That I always said to myself, I want to help people. For many years, I wanted to be a journalist. I actually was a journalist in the US. I left that, but my whole desire was to help people. And honestly, really, you never know what one thing, one word, one conversation you might have with someone. They may remember it for the rest of their life, and it may not mean anything to you, but to them, it could save their life. And we also have this idea in Judaism, if you're connecting with that, to make an effort to contribute to someone's well-being, to make someone or something a little bit better than it was before you were there. This is a concept of it fits very well into yoga, into ahimsa and nonviolence. We can talk a lot more about each of them, but I will try to move. I will move on to that. So the next one is called Satya, truthfulness, meaning we want to be truthful in our speech, in everything that we're doing. We want to come from a place of honesty. We want to be honest with ourselves and with people. But there's a very interesting thing here between ahimsa and satya, between nonviolence and truthfulness. If the truth will cause pain to someone, we're not supposed to, the person practicing yoga would choose not to harm that person. So this is something very interesting to think about, because you want to be truthful, and you share something with someone, even if it hurts their feelings a little bit. So the bit of like, okay, what do we do here? But I think it's really in a true sense of harm. Like if the truth could really significantly harm them. Anyway, yes, we could have a very philosophical debate about that, but it's interesting to think that the idea of non-harm, this is at the top. So everything that comes after non-harm needs to come back to non-harming. And this extends to your physical, to your practice, to everything you're doing. Something you're doing is causing you harm, or causing harm to someone else, something else. We want to stop, or figure out how to stop that. The next one is called asteya, that means non-stealing. These can also be thought, again, if you're connecting very much with Judaism, you can think of these somewhat like the commandments, maybe a little bit less strict. I don't know. Okay, so what does non-stealing mean? We can take that very literally, meaning not to steal things or objects from stores or something like that. But we can also think of it more abstractly of, again, how are we interacting with people and relating to the world, not to steal people's time. When we're with people, when we're having a conversation, spending time with someone, actually being present. And again, this is we're learning from yoga to be present and aware in everything that we're doing. So I've said a few times that I'm sure all of us can think of times where you're hanging out with your friends or your family, and after 5-10 minutes, you're like, okay, I can't be here anymore. I need to, like, mentally, you go somewhere else. And it may be that your family really wants to be with you. And in a way, you can think of that as like kind of stealing time. Or how are you if you're in a college class or something? Just starting to think about these things a bit more personally into how are you with other people. So respecting other people's time. Being present, being fully there when you're with someone. The next one, the fourth part of Yama, is called Ramachari. This one gets a little bit more complicated. In thousands of years ago, this was considered more as celibacy of I don't want to say like abstaining from sex. It's not. It may have been that strict for thousands and thousands of years ago. At one point, yoga was only practiced by men of like a priest class. It's come a long way from that point. But now in our modern life, we take that to mean non-excess. So not to avoid excess, and that can go to everything, to your food, to relaxation, drugs, yes to sex, not to be an nymphomaniac or going crazy and really like coming out of balance. So what we can learn from that is moderation. Whatever activity, whatever it is, to take it in moderation. If you know anything about Buddhism, this is also resonates with the Buddhist philosophy, the middle path, everything in moderation. And the last one of Yama is called Aparigraha. This means non-possessiveness or non-attachment. And this is how you can connect that with more of the material things you have around you. I can give you an example from my own life. Somehow, since I've been here in 4 years, I've collected a lot of clothing. I initially came with like a backpack and another backpack, and since then, I have a lot more than 2 backpacks. And I really don't like need as much as I have, but I have a little bit of a hard time to let it go for whatever reason. Some of it has like emotional significance, and I just can't seem to let it go. So I have a little bit of an issue there with attachment, holding on to things. So there we can think how, exactly what I said. How are you with your material things? Are you able to release it, or do you have some kind of attachment to your attachments? And we went slowly to work on to releasing them, which is very difficult. Moving on to Niyama, the second branch, which comes after Yama. And Niyama is more connecting to yourself, self-observations. How are you connecting to yourself? The first one is called Saucha. This means cleanliness or purity. You can take it very literally as to meaning like showering and keeping yourself clean. Or we can also extend it again back to speech. How are we speaking? Are we using a lot of like curse words or derogatory speech, or like speaking passive aggressively? Reflecting it onto, again, how are you interacting with people in like a clean and a pure way, and speaking as purely, as truthfully as possible with yourself and with other people. The next one is called Santosha. This means contentment. And contentment is very nice to look at. And also the word sounds nice, Santosha, I think. Contentment, Are you content with what you have? Are you someone who you find yourself always wanting more? Or when there's a new model of iPhone or a camera or something, whatever, do you find that you always want to get the new thing and to replace, even if you don't need to? Do you find that you don't have contentment? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But in this, are you happy? Are you satisfied with what you have in this moment? Are you always trying to have more, to get the promotion, to take yourself beyond? And on one hand, we want to better ourselves and to reach our promotion, but not because we want to have more things, have more money. We want to release it. And another thing we talked about a few days ago was connecting to one of the books of yoga called the Bhagavad Gita. And one of the highlights of this book is the main character. It's an epic poem. So there's a struggle. A hero is having a very big struggle about fighting his family. And in the end, he realizes he must take responsibility and do what he needs to do, and it's for the benefit of the greater good. But one of the teachings there is not to be attached to the fruit of your outcome. So the process here is what counts. The journey is what counts. The process you take with yourself. This is more important than the outcome that you have at the end, or the process that you're having if you're working on a big project, whatever it is you have in your work. That counts more than how much money you're making from it. Of course, we need to pay rent and we need to feed ourselves, and this is important. It doesn't mean to ignore that, but not to do something just for a paycheck, or that you're going to receive a bonus or a car or something like this. We want to be less attached to the outcome of something. So in this way, we can also be more content with what we have in the present moment. The next one, the third of niyama, is called tapas. Tapas is a heat, fire, and it's this is something we can connect more to a physical practice. In specifically the Ashtanga Yoga that I practice, the physical practice, we're creating a very big internal heat, and this heat is helping to purify and cleanse the body. And so it's recommended every day. Maybe you heard it from another physical way to take care of yourself, that every day to sweat a little bit every day is very healthy for you. So we want to maintain some practice of creating an internal heat to help purify and cleanse the body of toxins. And the fourth one is called Svadhyaya. Svadhyaya is a self-study. Self-study, self-reflection. It can mean, if you're not really connecting at all to the world of yoga, it's okay. You can find it in another outlet, like journaling, keeping a diary, listening to your favorite music album, and like taking it internally. Like, how do you feel when you listen to this album? I think now we don't actually listen much to a full album, it's more you listen to a single song or you switch songs. But 20 years ago, your favorite band made a record or made a CD, and you go and you sit down and you can't wait to listen to the whole thing with your friends, and that can also be a self-study, a process of connecting deeper with yourself. If you're connecting more with scriptural texts, with a religious text, anything, a philosophy text, anything that can help you to have like an aha moment with yourself. I like also to describe us as onions. We can be a bit smelly, and sometimes we make somebody cry, but we have layers. We have layers like an onion. And so all the time we're looking to peel the onion, to uncover the layers within us. And the last niyama, the fifth one, is called Ishvara Pranidhana. I don't think you remember any of these names, but it doesn't matter. Like we said, Ishvara Pranidhana is this is a surrender a release of attachment to the fruit of your labor, like we talked about, releasing the attachment to what you're doing. So the action or whatever you're doing this is a time that you could connect it to if you're choosing to connect or identify with religion, with God or gods, or if you're more universe and connect calling it the universe, however you want to call, if you're believing in a higher power, something higher than us as humans. We are trying to release our actions to the universe. This is a bit more complicated or philosophical, you can say, so we'll leave it there. Yes, so quickly going over those again. Yama, we have 5 of them. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satya, truthfulness. Asteya, non-stealing. Parigraha, non-possessiveness or non-attachment. Ramachari, non-excess, moderation. And the niyama of self-observations. Saucha, cleanliness. Santosha, contentment. Tapas, a heat or a fire we're creating. Swadhyaya, a self-reflection. And Ishwara Pranidhana is like a surrender. Yes, so we can learn much more deeply about them, but that's enough for that. And to move on to talk a little bit more about the rest of the 8 limbs, we already said about asana, it's the 3rd limb, and pranayama, the 4th one. So we're halfway through on 4. So these first 4 are a bit more like how we are with ourselves. It's a more like personal process that we're having. And then slowly we're making a transition a little bit more deeply. So we have the 5th one called Pratyahara. This means withdrawal of the senses. That sounds quite complicated. Withdrawal of the senses. What does that mean? The senses, our sight, our smell, our eyes, everything, we are reacting all the time to stimuli. You smell somebody's cooking something really good, and you connect with that smell. Maybe it makes you hungry, or you think about food, or you're hearing music and something happens. All the time, we're connecting with our senses. It's very, very difficult to train yourself to disconnect a little bit. A great example, though, anytime if you're watching a movie and you find that you're completely in the movie, you don't remember what time it is. If your friend talks to you, you don't hear him. You're just completely in the story of that movie. This is pratyahara. Your senses have withdrawn so much that you have disconnected also from your ego. You're just purely in that moment with the movie. Or if you're reading, it used to happen to me much more when I was younger, but now I have a little bit of a problem now. I'm getting distracted a lot. But if you're reading, also reading a great book, for me it was mostly fiction, but I think hopefully you experienced a time when you were really enveloped in a book and it was so good, somebody called to you, you don't hear their name, and they literally need to come pull the book out of your hands. This is pratyahara. Being so in the moment of whatever it is you're doing that the house can be on fire next to you and you don't realize it. Hopefully not, but that's an example to help you understand. The 6th limb of yoga is called dharana. And now they start to get a little bit more esoterical or like philosophical and a bit harder to connect with. But dharana, the simplest translation is concentration. So what we just said, you're concentrating on a book or on a movie, on one object, this is dharana. And as we're learning either to meditate or even to breathe, to move in yoga, it helps to focus on one thing. It's recommended to have a single point to focus, and many times I'm teaching people to focus on the breath. This is the single point of focus to to start. Then we have dhyana, which is a stronger form of concentration. It means more or less meditation, but again, meditation is quite an abstract word. When we're saying meditation, we're usually meditating on something. Meditation is not just a state of, okay, I'm sitting here and my mind is completely empty and like nothing's happening. That could happen, but again, for us as everyday people living in society, it's not recommended just to sit and try to like erase your mind completely. So instead, we want to choose something to focus on. So it can be anything, absolutely anything. One thing to try to focus your mind. And so everything else, when you have one object in focus, everything else has the opportunity to follow it or to become quiet. And the last limb of yoga is called samadhi. This is a state of pure contentment, of joy, of release. It can be similar to nirvana, that maybe you heard about in the Buddhist tradition. So maybe you experienced moments like this, moment or two in your life where you have a complete sense of happiness, of joy, of contentment. You have no desire at all. Everything is just perfect for you in a moment or two. And then it goes away and we come back to reality. So for us as people living in society, we can think that we will have maybe these single moments or two where we experience it. So in a very short, in a short way, this is describing the 8 limbs of yoga, but we can understand, like I said before, they're all working together. They're all working together. So when we're practicing and when we're in a posture, you can think that you have all of these elements that can go into one particular posture. I can have the yamas and niyamas with myself, non-violence. I can be truthful with myself. I can not stealing things I shouldn't be doing for myself, not doing too much yoga or too much breathing, and not being attached to if I succeed or if I don't succeed. I'm doing it for the sake of doing it, not for if I succeed or if I don't succeed. Am I being clean? Am I showering? Am I taking care of myself? Am I speaking plainly to myself? Am I content with my practice today? Am I wanting more? Am I working with this heat, this tapas that we talked about? And am I having a process of self-reflecting, connecting internally? And am I releasing, also trying to release everything that I'm doing? I'm releasing it. And like we said, Pratyahara, being enveloped completely in the moment. I find, I will share with you that many times I'm practicing for years, but still I love what I'm doing when I'm having my yoga practice, but still I notice that I have thoughts coming to my mind, and it's very stupid stuff like, I need to do this and this for tonight, I need to do this and this tomorrow, and it's very like, why is this coming now? So it's not, it's a process. It's not ever completed. You can always find more to do. So now I would like to take a bit of movement with you. So you can stay, you can come to a sitting posture. Yeah, comfortable sitting posture. We'll take a few movements together. Okay. Yeah, try to get a comfortable sitting position. You can let the eyes close softly for a few moments. Try to breathe deeply through the nose, in and out through the nose. We're wanting to breathe through the nose. Inhale deeply through the nose. Try to breathe into the belly. And exhale out through the nose. Try to breathe into the belly. The belly is moving a bit like a balloon, so we're trying to breathe more deeply into the lungs. Noticing here as you're trying to breathe in and out through the nose, what do you feel as you're trying to deepen the breath? Is it possible? Is it not possible? We're wanting to sit straight if possible to help use all the space of the lungs. So if you can do it, you can lie on the back. It will be easier. Take about 2 or 3 more deep breaths. Try to fill up the lungs from the bottom to the top, like you're pouring water into a pitcher. The water comes from the bottom all the way to the top. Okay. On the next breath, as you're ready, we'll take an inhale and lift the arms, reach up. Big reach, try to lift through the ribs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms down to the sides. Good. Again, inhale, lift the arms, reach up. This time, gentle twist to the right. Exhale, open the hands to the right. Gentle twist on the spine. If you want to go deeper, the left hand goes onto the knee. You can gently rotate the upper body. Inhale, lengthen, bring the arms to the center, reach up, reach through the ribs. Exhale to the left, open the arms to the left, gentle twist to deepen the right hand to the left leg, gently helping to rotate. Inhale, lengthen up to the center, and exhale, bend forward. Try to keep your hips on the floor. Your butt starts to lift off the floor. Take your hands closer to the body. To feel more in your arms here, walk the arms far forward onto the fingertips. If you wish to be more gentle, release the arms to the floor. Try to breathe into the upper back, the space of the shoulders. And now looking forward. From this forward fold, roll over the knees, come to a tabletop. Bring the wrist underneath the shoulder, the knee underneath the hip point. So the back is relatively flat here. So we'll start to join in movement with our breath here. On the inhale, lift the head forward, gently arch the lower back. Exhale, like a cat. The back is like a cat arching up toward the ceiling. The inhale lengthens, head comes forward. And exhale. Curl the spine upward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl the spine upward. Inhale, lengthen. Try to make the breath last for the whole movement. And exhale. Now we're wanting to join the breath and the movement together. This is the meaning of vinyasa. If you ever heard of vinyasa yoga class, vinyasa, joining the movement with the breath, which doesn't always work out. No worries if it doesn't work for you today. Take one more inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, release knees to a neutral position, tabletop. Okay. Now let's try a downward facing dog. You can think like the most classic posture you can think when you hear yoga. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. So we keep the hands where they are. The hands are the distance between the shoulders. The legs are distance of the hips. Try to lengthen through your arms. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Now looking forward. Take the right leg, bring the right leg up by the hands, lower the left knee to the floor, and we'll take a gentle lunge. We're trying to stretch out this inner thigh. If it's too much for you, you can then come to about 90-90. If you're okay to stay a little bit deeper, you can lower down. Be aware of your lower back here. We're working to stretch along this left muscle, leg muscle. Goes about from the knee all the way up to the core. It's called the psoas. We should feel a gentle or maybe a very intense stretching sensation without pain. When we experience a serious pain, this is a signal to stop, not to continue. Respecting the body, non-harming, ahimsa, without pain. You can here bring the hands either onto the leg. You can push the upper body away from the leg. And try to deepen and slow down the breath. With the next exhale, we'll turn the hands onto the floor. Lift the left leg. Downward facing dog. And we'll switch sides. Take the left leg forward, lower the right knee. The same type of a lunge. If you're okay to stay in a deep lunge, you can go for it. If it doesn't feel nice, either on the low back, come up to 90-90. If you're in the 90-90, you may need to take the upper body a bit further back to feel the stretch along the leg. All the time when we have a type of back bending, you want to think of it as a lifting up out of the pelvis. Not just that we're, okay, arching the spine and that's a back bend. We want to lift. Try to lift and extend through the ribs. And take about 3 more breaths here. Yes. On the next exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Step the left leg to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog for most beginners is very intense on the hands and the wrist. With the hands here, we want to be using the fingertips. All the little fingertips will help to take pressure out of the base of your wrist. You can think you're like a little lizard or a gecko when you try to use the fingertips to take pressure out of the base of your palm. And Mark, you want to open the legs hip distance. Yep, hip distance apart. Yep, and in downward dog, the hips are up and back. So like a V, like an upside down V. If it's very difficult for the hands here to modify, you can either drop the knees and we take what we call puppy posture. So there's less pressure, no pressure on the wrists here. Or you can lower onto the forearms. Again, no pressure on the wrists. This is called dolphin. Good. From downward facing dog, exhale, take the knees onto the floor and sit back onto the hips. Make your way now onto the back. You can lie down. And we'll take a few minutes of relaxation. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. In the classic Shavasana, rest in yoga, we call it Shavasana. You want to open the feet about 1/2 meter. If you have a mattress, it's like in the corner of the mat. And the palms of the hands are facing up about a few inches away from the body. If it's painful for you to lie on the back, you could bend the knees, bring the knees together and take the feet wider. Yes, so ideally here in a restful position, you want to be as comfortable as possible without pain. And if both of those don't work, you could lie on the side. So for a few moments, we will be here, close the eyes, and I will guide you through relaxation. Close the eyes. If they're still open, gently let the eyes close. If you want to breathe, take a sigh, let breath come out of the mouth. You can let it go. Take a breath in, exhale, sigh, let something go, release. The exhales are one opportunity to release and let go. Now bring your attention slowly, slowly down toward the feet. If it's possible, try to squeeze the right foot, tighten and close, squeeze the right foot and the ankle as much as you can. Maybe lift it a little bit from the floor and exhale, release the right leg down. Gently move to the left foot and the ankle, the same thing, squeeze, hold the left foot, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, and exhale, release. Let it go. For the legs or maybe the butt together, the area of the thighs, squeeze, hold everything in, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. And exhale, release, let it go. So we're wanting slowly to work on squeezing and tensing different parts of the body to experience a deeper relaxation. Moving your way up the back, up the body, coming to the chest or the upper back. You can try to squeeze and lift, maybe lift a little bit the chest off of the floor, squeeze the upper body, and exhale, release. Bring your attention to the hand of the right side, the arm, lift the arm, squeeze, make a fist, squeeze, 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 and exhale, release. Shift to the left side, gently lifting the left arm, squeeze it, make a fist, squeeze very tightly, and exhale, release. Moving on to the neck or the head, squeeze if you can, gently. The area of the face, the eyes, clench in the face, the mouth, make everything tight in the face, and release. One more time with the face. Squeeze everything together tightly, shut the eyes, shut the mouth, close everything really, really tightly, and exhale, release. Spend a few moments here. Embrace the stillness, embrace the quiet around you. The period of rest after yoga practice is extremely important. like a mini sleep. And we learn how to relax correctly, relax properly. We can heal our body faster, improve our health, improve our quality of sleep. Try to maintain a gentle awareness, noticing whatever you feel in the body or the mind. And very gently now, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Squeeze the hands and feet gently, not as strongly as before, but slowly bringing sensation into the body. Stretch the arms overhead. If you're waking up in the morning, big reach up, lengthen the body. Take the knees into the chest, hug the knees in. Gently roll over to the right side. Like the fetal position, place the head on the arm with the pillow. And using the arms to help lift you up to a sitting position. So this was the last session for our meetings. You can turn on the microphone if you'd like, if you have questions or something you want to say how you felt. If you are still, sometimes when we're in a shavasana, we get the state of like bliss, of like contentment. So we don't always feel like ready to join society again. So if you want to stay in your relaxation, go for it. Yeah. This is yes, this is a very nice feeling. It can be almost like a natural high when we are getting to that point. So if you do have questions, I'll be happy to answer for you. A few of you, I have your email, and I will send you an email over the weekend. And so during this time, I'm offering classes online. And you're welcome if it interests you or you want yoga to do at home or something. You can give me an email and I'll send you. The loud noise. Construction maybe. Does anyone have questions or? Sounds like a song. You have a question, Mark?
Like, what's, like, I've been trying not to smoke, and, like, I've been doing good, but what are, like, some good exercises that, like, or just, like, all yoga in general?
What, to help you not smoke?
Yeah.
This is more an exercise of your willpower and your strength. But yes, if you're starting to practice yoga, like try to do a little bit every day. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something short, and I will be in touch with you to give you some things that you can join for cooking. Starting to move your body and starting to manipulate your breath. If you're a regular smoker, like and you're smoking a lot, you will feel it. It will be hard for you to breathe, and at some point, you will.
No, I haven't smoked a lot in like a long time.
Okay, so that's great. You know, it's you want to be gentle with yourself. Try not to get upset and angry if you like need, you know, you feel okay, I want to have a cigarette. Okay, it's okay. Like we don't want to be having a conflict with ourselves. So if we're getting to a point where we really feel like conflicted and we're torn, and we're not in a healthy place, there it's doing a bit more harm than good. So if you're needing a bit to smoke a little bit until you're able to smoke less, like, it's okay. Just you're aware that you're trying to reduce it, and that's it. Just try to keep doing what you're doing, and as you're starting moving and breathing, you will find there will be less desire to smoke. Once you start even just doing the breathing exercise we did yesterday, like the 3-part breathing to the belly, breathing to the ribs, breathing to the chest, trying to promote a deep, full breathing. Once your body like gets used to it and likes it, if you're starting to smoke again, you will feel like it will not feel nice. I don't know if that answers your question. There's not like one magic answer.
Yeah.
Anytime that we're experiencing an addiction to something, it's a process to recognize that there's a problem there, and slowly to try to take small changes to gently break that connection. Some people are better at going cold turkey, and some people it doesn't work for them. So this is something you need to try and to understand yourself.
Okay.
Yes. Does that help?
That does. It helps a lot.
Anything else? Any other questions?
So there definitely won't be more classes next week or anything?
For this session, no, this is the last, for this seminar, this is the last session. I don't know what else Masa has planned. We need to talk to them, but maybe there is a possibility of doing classes through them, or if not, like I said, you're welcome to join the classes that I'm teaching. I have a few classes for beginners. So I will send an email over the weekend, and if you want, you can just like include them. If you want to give me your email, if you're interested, you can share it. If not, you don't have to at all. It's your choice. And I guess you'll have a lot of time on your hands now. Yeah. Any more questions? Something you didn't understand? No?
You have my email from yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I have all the emails from yesterday. If there's someone else from today you want to send it, you can write me in the chat.
Well, I don't have questions, but I want to say that I'm very grateful to you, and I had 3 wonderful mornings because of you and your classes. So I'll email you because I want to try to go to your group because I really love those feelings. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to share with you. Thank you everyone for coming. It was wonderful to finally see you yesterday. Finally to see you and to share a little bit or a lot about yoga. It was not too overwhelming. It's a lot of information. But hopefully you have at least 1 or 2 things you can take away and maybe incorporate to your free time now. Yep. So okay. So I've got email. I got email from you, Ruben. Great. So I will send an email to you guys over the weekend, and we can be in touch.
Thanks.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.